Are you looking for the best walkies talkies? In this video we will look at some of the 6 best walkies talkies on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Midland X-Talker T10 VP3. For such a small radio, the Midland X-Talker T10 VP3, $50, radios held surprisingly tough in our worst-case scenario range tests, and at just $50 for a pair, are a downright steal for anyone looking to snag a set on the cheap. Midland has chops as a brand, and while the larger GXT1000 was one of the higher performers in our testing, these little apples don't fall far from the tree. Easily fitting into your palm, the X-Talker T51s take up little real estate, and we appreciated that while using them for climbing commands and trekking far where bulkier radios would have been a pain. Transmission distance is about middle of the pack, with diminishing quality at around the 3-mile mark in our torture test, and 4 miles in our best-case scenario. The smaller overall antenna likely plays a role here, so don't plan on a booming transmission range. For closer communications, however, we found little fault with these radios and they provided good clarity throughout. These walkies are dual fuel, taking both standard AAA cells as well as the included 700 mAh rechargeable battery packs. Our testers appreciated that the radios can be charged on both the included bases, as well as through a micro USB port on the side of the unit's slick. While overall battery life won't be the most impressive, these are the smallest radios in our testing, we could squeeze out a full day of use. Number 2. Baofeng BF-F8HP. Fair warning, the Baofeng BF-F8HP, $65, has no easy learning curve, nor is it a radio that can be used without becoming an amateur radio operator, but for those who want to open up a whole different universe of ability for outdoors comms, this is the radio to step up to. As an amateur radio, an FCC license is the only way to legally operate this radio, but the advanced ability the BF-F8HP offers up is well worth it. At 8W of max output, this radio far and away outperformed every other walkie-talkie in our testing, and that's only in radio-to-radio, or simplex, mode. Because these radios can access repeater towers, ground-based antennas that amplify your signal, your range can instead be measured in hundreds of miles. Menu navigation isn't as streamlined as other amateur radios such as ICOM or Yaesu, and some second-party companies even sell laminated cheat sheets to get you through the labyrinth. It usually takes our senior tester about a day of using this radio again before it all comes back. Baofeng does sell a programming cord for use with this radio, and we highly recommend purchasing that with your handheld for far easier setup. Technically a dual-band radio, the BF-F8HP operates on both the VHF and UHF frequencies, as well as tossing in an AM/FM radio receiver. The dirty secret with these radios is that while they can operate on the FRS frequencies, they aren't FCC certified as such, and we can't recommend that you use them that way. Number 3. Mountain Lab Gear Scout 2W Radio. Right off the bat, we'll say that this radio gives the BCA Link 2.0 a run for its money every day of the week, and there are even a few circumstances we actually prefer the Mountain Lab Gear Scout 2W radio, $149. For anyone looking for a walkie-talkie to use while backcountry skiing, this radio is one to strongly consider. Composed of a base unit and handheld mic, the Scout works in much the same way, tucking away the radio itself while operating remotely. While the BCA Link 2.0 hand mic is feature-rich, the Mountain Lab version is pretty Spartan and only supports a push-to-talk button. This might be a boon to those annoyed with the occasional channel change on BCA radios, but it does mean you'll have to rifle around for the radio should you need to migrate frequencies during your ski tour. That said, you can use the Scout radio on its own, which, in our opinion, makes up for the hassle. This versatility means you can choose to go handheld or not, and that can be a benefit when you decide to ditch packs for a quick side mission. Rounding out the Scout is NOAA weather reception, a built-in flashlight, with water-activated flashing, and a speaker that is just dang loud, one of the loudest in our review. This is especially handy when toggling on the SOS function, which transmits an alert on your current frequency as well as audibly from the radio. Number 4. Motorola Talkabout T600. While the Motorola Talkabout T600, $130, didn't score the highest in our testing, it still has plenty going for it, and as a fully waterproof and floating radio, there are plenty of uses we can drum up. An excellent alternative to the Cobra ACX T1035 or FLT, the T600 hits many of the same water-friendly metrics, including an IP67 waterproof rating, a floating design, and even something the Cobra doesn't offer, a water-activated flashlight that comes on should your radio take a dive. In our testing, transmission range wasn't the hottest on these radios, with the best case being 4 miles and the worst case being 2 to 3. The reason is found deep in the user manual for the radios. The T600 only transmits at 1.5 W on high, not the maximum 2 W allowed on the FRS band. While this seems small, the real-world performance laid bare how important that half a watt is. The included rechargeable battery pack is only 800 mAh, which was the smallest in our testing. Thankfully, the T600 will also run on AA batteries, which bumps up operating time from around 8 hours to almost a full day. For most, even a good 8 hours is enough when you aren't far from a charger, but another radio may better fit the bill for extended trips. We tested these radios by loaning them to a local trail crew, who used them to manage communications across a few miles of worksite and while felling trees, no small ask. Across the board, they reported clear transmissions and little static, even in denser brush. For $65 per radio, the Talkabout T600 is one of the more affordable options in our lineup, and while we think the Midland X-Talker is a better budget radio for most, these are still a great value. Number 5. Backcountry Access BC Link Mini. The Backcountry Access BC Link Mini boasts great packability without compromising performance. Our tester noted, this radio easily fits in my jacket pocket yet offers some of the best clarity I've seen. The weight-to-performance ratio is hard to beat. This radio transmitted clearly to its range limit despite minor obstructions, rarely requiring message repeats. A simpler, lighter version of BCA's BC Link 2.0, it's user-friendly and boasts an IP55 rating, which means it is dust-protected and resistant to water jets from any direction. Translation: it's sufficient for most uses except whitewater boating. This is a top contender for a light, durable, simple radio for non-water sports. The Backcountry Access BC Link Mini features a large, glove-friendly mic button that protrudes, risking accidental presses in a pocket or pack. Unlike the sturdy steel clip on the walkie-talkie 5-watt, its lightweight plastic clip needs the included leash for security. I love monitoring 2 channels at once, one tester said, but it can get noisy with heavy traffic. We wish there were a single-channel option. Dual channel aside, this lightweight walkie-talkie delivers solid performance for most outdoor sports. Number 6. Midland X-Talker T10. Want a straightforward and affordable two-way radio? Get the Midland X-Talker T10. It's lightweight and compact, fits easily in a day pack or even a standard pocket, and has a battery life that's among the best we've tested. Unlike most walkie-talkies at this price point, the T10 is water-resistant. I was impressed when it kept working after a soaking from the hose, our tester noted during testing. The X-Talker T10's rugged case and antenna design lead us to believe it can withstand use and abuse. The clip holding the radio onto a backpack's shoulder strap isn't the best, but it works. The X-Talker T10 has a shorter range than top models, typical for smaller, cheaper units, reaching 1 mile in line-of-sight tests and 3/4 with terrain obstructions. I could still hear my partner, but it got fuzzy with hills in the way, our tester remarked. When reliable communication is critical, we'd recommend something like the walkie-talkie mountain radio if you're willing to stretch your budget. But if you need a simple and inexpensive option that anyone can learn to use quickly, this is an excellent choice.